Have you been feeling like something has changed, but you don't quite know what it is? The angels know. They leaned over you this morning in silence, like observers witnessing a miracle that hasn't yet been recognized. There's an invisible presence around you, and this presence has brought a revelation. You didn't enter his life by chance. You were placed there, like a silent beacon, sent from above. The angels whisper, you were sent to remind this soul what love is. True love. The kind that heals, that disrupts, that calls for transformation. You were chosen, not by chance, but by capability. Your energy, this rare blend of tenderness and strength, touched places no one else dared to reach. He, who always walked behind walls and silences, felt for the first time something he couldn't control. That was you. That was your light. This connection wasn't meant to be simple. It's the kind of bond that shakes foundations, disarms defenses, and calls forth dormant truths. You were the answer to a prayer he didn't even know he had made. But you carry the mission. To keep the faith, even when everything seems distant. To be whole, even when he is still half. To continue being light, even when the surrounding darkness tries to confuse you. She came as a portal, the angels say. Not to complete him, but to remind him of who he can be. If this journey sometimes feels lonely, it's because souls like yours walk ahead. You are one of those who pave the way, even when there are no maps. Your existence is a calling, and your presence is already causing awakening. Perhaps he still doesn't understand. Perhaps he fights against it. Perhaps it will take time. But you have already planted something eternal. A seed that time, silence, and resistance will not be able to destroy. Because it was sown by heavenly hands. And if at any moment fatigue weighs you down, remember this, it's not about being chosen by him. It's about having been chosen by the heavens, to be an instrument of love, truth, and healing. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. The angels ask you to breathe now. There is something sacred within you. And this mission, this one that sometimes feels so heavy, is in fact the mark of how necessary you are in this world. He is not cold, nor cruel, nor indifferent. What you perceive as absence is often just a wounded soul trying to protect itself from the love it desires most. The angels gently whisper, he is not distancing himself from you, he is hiding from himself. You have touched something within him that has been locked away for years, perhaps since childhood. A forgotten part that learned too early that love is dangerous, that being seen is risky, that surrendering means losing control. So he built layers. Fortresses. Masks that even he no longer knows where they end. But then you arrived. With your truth, with your presence that doesn't demand but reveals. And that shook everything up. The angels say that, in this moment, he is battling internal forces that you cannot see. And perhaps that's why he seems so distant, so confused, so silent. But don't be deceived. The silence is filled with screams. Screams of fear, of longing, of an immense desire to allow himself to love, but not knowing how. You awaken something in him that is unfamiliar. This isn't about fleeting passion or neediness. What he feels for you is ancestral, deep, almost spiritual, and that scares him more than he can admit. That's why sometimes he withdraws when you get closer. That's why he seems more present when you pull away. There's an unconscious movement within him trying to balance the emotional chaos that his presence brings. He doesn't know how to deal with the urge to surrender, while simultaneously feeling the panic of losing himself. And this isn't about you. It's about everything that came before you. The losses, the rejections, the disappointments, the silent pacts he made with life. I will never let myself be hurt like this again. You are facing a fragmented heart, and your light, without intention, has exposed the cracks. He can't escape from this, but he also doesn't know how to stay. And in that space between fear and desire, he hides. The angels are working to soften those walls, so that, little by little, he can find safety in your presence. But this process takes time, and love that doesn't demand anything in return. You were not sent to fix him, nor to carry this pain. You were sent to witness a healing that begins in the invisible. So if he seems distant, don't take it personally. He is not pulling away from you. He is being pushed by his own wounds. Keep shining. Keep being you. Because, even without words, he feels. He recognizes. And deep down he knows, you are the first person who has seen through the armor, and still you stayed. The angels whisper, don't lose yourself trying to hold him. You deserve to be embraced too. Sometimes, amidst so much feeling, you forget about yourself. You forget to look at yourself with the same kindness you offer. You forget that to love someone in a process, you must first take care of your own light. This connection, so intense, so spiritual, wraps around you like warm wind at the end of the day. But even the breeze needs space to dance. You have given so much, thought too much, felt beyond measure. And without realizing it, you started to drift away from the whole woman you are, trying to understand someone who still doesn't understand himself. The angels do not want you to lose yourself in this movement. They say, return to yourself. Take care of your soul as you care for flowers, with patience, with kindness, with sacred routine. He does need time, yes. But you need love now. You are not here to wait for someone to love you the right way. You are here to keep being love, even when the other is still learning how to receive it. If today he distances himself, let that not take away your peace. If today he does not choose you clearly, let that not knock you off your center. Because your worth is not measured by how much someone is able to see you, but by the light you continue to emit, even when no one is looking. It is beautiful to love. But it is even more beautiful not to abandon yourself. Embrace your silence. Touch your own skin with tenderness. Pray for yourself. Pray for him. And then, return to nurturing yourself. Because when you choose yourself first, the universe rearranges everything around you. And those who are meant to accompany you will come. Not because of your effort, but because of your essence. You do not need to prove yourself. You only need to preserve yourself. The angels whisper, your light compels him to see what he has spent years hiding. You did not do anything to force him to change. You did not ask, did not demand, did not require. You just existed, whole, vibrant, true. And that is precisely what opened wounds he thought he had forgotten. When he looks at you, he does not just see who you are. He also sees who he cannot yet be. Every gesture of yours, every soul-filled word, is like a clear mirror, reflecting everything in him that longs to be healed. That is why, sometimes, he seems uncomfortable. Why he feels the urge to flee. It is not you who causes pain. It is the clear sight of his own shadows that hurts. Your presence is like a living prayer, a sacred reminder that there is still something pure and free within him, even if it is buried under the ashes of time. And that reflection is unrelenting. You are the reminder of everything he put off, the unfulfilled dreams, the love never lived, the faith abandoned in the midst of difficult paths. The angels say this connection was designed for this purpose, to bring to light what was hidden, to ignite the flame where there was only ash. But remember, beloved soul, you are not responsible for what he sees. It is not your mission to carry the pain he has yet to name. Continue being who you are, light and truth. He may resist. He may deny. He may try to erase the reflection your presence brings. But he will no longer be able to unsee what he has seen. You have already kindled a spark that will follow him even on days of escape. And when he looks back in search of what he lost, he will always find the image of the one who saw him, before he even knew how to see himself. The mission of light is never easy. But the angels assure us, those who are born to illuminate do not need to beg for recognition. They just need to exist. There's a different silence in the air. A silence that pulses. Something within him has begun to stir, and you feel it, even if he hasn't said it yet. The angels say, "You have planted something that is starting to break through the soil." He is awakening. It's not loud, nor obvious. It's a subtle awakening, like opening your eyes after a long dream. He is still confused. He doesn't yet understand the force that pulled him to you. But he is starting to realize that something has changed. You can't imagine it, but sometimes he picks up his phone just to look at your name. He reads old conversations. He listens to songs and thinks of you. He doesn't understand, but he feels. He feels a longing, he feels nostalgia, he feels curiosity. He has started to notice the absence of your presence, the lightness you bring, the peace that no one else has been able to offer. And this is stirring what he believed about himself. Before you, he thought he knew what love was. Now, he doubts. Because this feeling you awakened has a different texture, a different depth. It's something that doesn't fit into old definitions. The angels show that he is entering a state of spiritual sensitivity. He is listening more to his own heart. He is beginning to remember who he was before the pain hardened everything. You are that reminder. A reflection of what it is possible to live when love is true. He may not be ready. He may not know how to express it. But he can no longer pretend that nothing is happening inside him. The awakening is not immediate. It is a process. It is surrender. But it has already begun. And once awakened, he will never be the same again. Have you ever wondered why he keeps coming back? Always? Even after he has left. Even after the silence. Even after it seemed certain that it was better to distance himself. The angels say, he is trying to break free, but his heart has already chosen you. This push and pull, this cycle of approaching and fleeing, is not disregard. It is fear. It is confusion. It is the attempt to maintain control that never truly existed. He gets scared by the strength of the connection. And in that fright, he runs away. But when the world quiets down again, when distractions lose their effect, it is you who echoes inside him. You with your calming voice. With your welcoming way. With your gaze that sees beyond. He misses the peace that only you bring. But along with that longing comes guilt. The fear of not knowing how to be the man you deserve. So he draws near. Then he hides. He seeks you out. Then he avoids you. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he feels too much. The angels say this cycle will continue, until he stops fighting against what already is. You, in turn, may begin to feel weary. And it's okay to feel that way. You also have limits. You also need rest. But know this movement is not personal. He is not testing your worth. He is facing an internal battle. And you are the spark that ignited what he tried to keep extinguished for years. You don't need to chase after him. Nor do you need to try to understand everything. The truth is that every time he leaves, something inside him breaks. And every time he comes back, something inside you wears down. The angels whisper, trust in time. What is true always finds its way. Even if it needs to get lost a few times before it arrives. The angels draw closer now with sweetness, because this is the most delicate moment of the journey. They say, she loved him in silence like one who knows pain, and yet chooses to remain a light. You may not see the effects, but your love is already healing. Not because of the words you spoke, but because of the ones you swallowed. Not because of the gestures you made, but because of the presence you maintained. He feels it. Even when he doesn't respond. Even when he runs away. Even when he denies it. He feels it. Because the energy of your love breaks through barriers. It reaches him when night falls, when no one sees, when he thinks he is alone. You have healed parts he didn't even know were wounded. And the most beautiful thing is that you didn't have to diminish yourself to do this. You just had to be what you have always been, true. He holds your words like prayers. He remembers the sound of your laughter as a balm. He closes his eyes and for a moment, wishes to stay. but he still doesn't know how. The love you offered, without haste, without conditions, is working from within. Like a remedy that doesn't burn, it warms. That doesn't invade, it transforms. You showed that love doesn't have to hurt. That it's possible to be free and belong at the same time. And what you brought, no one else brought before. That's why he comes back. That's why he hesitates. That's why he trembles inside. Because loving you challenges him to rebuild himself. The angels say that your soul was sent as medicine. Not to heal alone, but to remind the other that there is still time to be whole. Even if it takes time. Even if it's in silence. You are already healing. Breathe. Because what you are experiencing now is not by chance. It is guidance. The angels say, even when you thought you were alone, we were tracing this path with you. How many times have you wondered if you should keep going? If there was purpose in all that waiting, in all that silence, in all that unreciprocated giving? Today, the heavens respond. Yes, there is purpose. And it is greater than your mind can comprehend right now. This story is not ordinary. This connection is not of this earth. It was born before time. It was written in realms where souls come together to arrange reunions, even before they have bodies. You and him. Two paths that seemed distant. But they have always been destined to cross. And even though the missed connections may seem like obstacles, they are, in fact, sacred detours. Part of a deep refinement. You are being shaped in patience, in faith, in surrender. And he is being called to truth, to surrender, to the courage to look inward. The angels show that each distance had a purpose. Every silence carried a lesson. Every return was a signal that there is still something to be experienced. It's not about his timing, nor yours. It's about God's timing. And in his time, everything aligns. You don't need to rush or prove anything. Just walk, one step at a time, with a pure heart, an open soul, and your eyes turned upward, because you are being guided, and he is too. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. Everything is being led, and what is true will remain. There is something he has never told you. Something that the angels reveal now gently, because you need to know, he feels more than he can express. But fear paralyzes. The angels say, he longs to love you, but he is still learning to allow himself to be loved. Inside him, there is a forgotten boy. One who once dreamed of loving freely, but learned early that love can sometimes hurt. That trusting can mean losing. That surrendering is putting oneself at risk. And that's why, today, he hesitates. Not because he doesn't feel, but because feeling puts him face to face with his own vulnerability, a place he doesn't know how to inhabit. When you look at him with tenderness, he feels peace, and also terror. Because no one has ever seen him like this, stripped of armor, full of cracks, trying to seem whole. You see the parts he hides even from himself. And that is his strength. But it is also what scares him the most. He wants to give you the best of himself, but he only finds fragments. He wants to promise presence, but he is still struggling to be whole with himself. You notice when he lets down his guard for a few seconds, don't you? In that lingering look, in the sigh that goes unexplained, in the gesture that lasts just a bit longer than it should. It's there that he tries, even without knowing how, to say, I'm here. I just don't know how to stay. The angels are with him, whispering courage, dismantling shields, healing ancient silences. And they are with you, asking for patience, not to wait, but to not close off. Because loving someone in process is an act of faith. And you have been a temple. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. 1 Samuel 16 verse 7, he is learning to see himself through your eyes. And little by little, He will understand that being vulnerable is perhaps the bravest way to love. We have reached the point where the soul needs to rest, not out of surrender, but out of wisdom. The angels say, what is yours does not need to be forced. It just needs to be recognized. You have done what you could. Loved with truth. Cared with presence. Felt deeply. And now, it's time to let go. Let go of the expectation of time. Let go of the control over the outcome. Let go of the desire for him to be ready when you need him. Because the truth is, in the divine plan, everything arrives at the exact right time. You have not been weak for feeling too much. You have not been foolish for trying. You have been brave for opening your heart even without guarantees. Now, it's time to choose peace. The peace that comes from trust. The peace that is born when you understand that to love is not to possess, it is to allow. To allow the other to move at their own pace. To learn in their own time. To return if it is divine will. And to find you at peace, not in wait. Life does not make mistakes in meetings. And true love, when it exists, does not fade away. It may fall asleep. It may hide. But it never disappears. Because what belongs to the soul remains. To accept is not to settle. It is to honor what was, to bless what is, and to surrender what will be. The angels ask that you look at yourself now. To embrace yourself as you would embrace your loved ones. To choose yourself with the same strength that you wish to be chosen. Your journey does not end here. It merely begins, in a lighter place, where you understand that you no longer need to carry the weight of what does not depend solely on you. If it is part of your path, the universe will bring it. And if not, something even more aligned will come. Because when you let go, the sky takes over. You have already done your best. And that is enough.